ए देव, ये मेरा क्यों डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया? नहीं, but I think I am disconnected.
नहीं मैम, you are not disconnected.
Okay.
You are clearly audible.
We are there, I think. वंदना?
हाँ जी मैम, बोलो मैम।
नहीं, मैं कह रही हूँ वीडियो वगैरह नहीं आ रहा लोगों का।
अच्छा,
दे हैव क्लोज्ड इट।
हाँ, वीडियो तो आएगा ही ना। स्टूडेंट्स कुछ लोग, मैम आपका भी नहीं आ रहा है। कुछ लोग प्लीज, आई रिक्वेस्ट फ्यू पीपल प्लीज स्विच ऑन योर कैमरा, क्योंकि अच्छा नहीं लगता है हम लोग सभी अपना स्विच ऑफ कर लेते हैं, तो एटलीस्ट जो स्क्रीन पर आ रहा है वो लोग तो अपना ऑन कर लेंगे, ठीक है?
नहीं, मेरा तो वीडियो शो नहीं हो रहा है, आई डोंट नो।
आपका नहीं हो रहा है मैम?
हाँ, मैंने इसको खोला, बट देन व्हाट टू डू?
नहीं हो रहा आपका?
मैंने खोल रखा है, बट आई कांट सी माई सेल्फ। आप लोग भी नहीं देख पा रहे होंगे शायद। रुकिए, मैं किसी को बुलाती हूँ।
ठीक। अब आ रहे हो मैम? नाउ यू आर विजिबल, but your voice has gone. You're not audible, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You are still sending your video to others in the meeting. क्या आ रहा है?
Now you have attended lots of, ma'am. अब तो आप मतलब you are expert now.
अरे एक्सपर्ट होने से भी ये टेक्नोलॉजी धोखा दे देता है।
You know what message I got from Utpal कि आज 2 बजे से लेकर कुछ कॉल प्रॉब्लम है, तो एनर्जी का कुछ आया है उसके पास मैसेज, तो मैंने कहा
एनर्जी सेव करना है।
मैंने कहा मेरे पास तो नहीं आया, 4 बजे तक ना आए तो बहुत अच्छी बात है। हेलो, गुड आफ्टरनून उत्पल जी।
उत्पल जी तो है यहाँ पर।
हाँ, मैं सुन रहा हूँ
सर, मैं कह रही हूँ,
और मैं इसेंस भी समझ रहा हूँ वंदना मैम का। 2 to 6 o'clock का था टाटा पावर लिमिटेड की तरफ से कि शॉर्टेज कुछ रहेगी इस तरह से। पता नहीं वो एरिया स्पेसिफिक था या सोसाइटी स्पेसिफिक था। मेरे ही सोसाइटी में था, आप तो पड़ोस में रहती हैं, आपको भी जाना चाहिए।
होपफुली हमें ना मिले वो मैसेज अभी 1.5 घंटे तक, फिर मिल जाए उसके बाद।
नहीं, उसके लिए पावर स्टोर किया हुआ है मैम, कोई इशू नहीं है, बैकअप रखा हुआ है
जी। So 36 have joined. We are waiting for next 5 minutes. Student, the seminar will be, ये जो सेमिनार है इंटरेस्टिंग होने जा रहा है आप लोगों के लिए, इसको ठीक से थोड़ा सुन लेना। रिसर्च, छोटे छोटे लेवल पर रिसर्च हम कैसे कर सकते हैं और एथिक्स क्या होते हैं रिसर्च में स्पेसिफिकली, वो सर बताएंगे। हम लोग ऐसे इमेज उठाकर डाल देते हैं ना, वो हम नहीं डाल सकते हैं किसी भी जगह पर, है ना?
गेस्ट ने तो ज्वाइन नहीं किया है ना?
नहीं, गेस्ट हैज नॉट जॉइंड येट। उनको बोला हुआ है, स्टैंड बाय रखा हुआ है सर को कि अभी।
निवेदिता मैम की क्या हालचाल है?
मैम इज हियर।
हाउ आर यू मैम?
आप पूछ रहे हैं मुझे? पूछ रहे हैं?
जो मैं पूछ रहा हूँ आप समझ रही हैं?
अरे बहुत पूछिए, बस देख लीजिए, हालत बहुत खराब है भाई।
बस
प्रोग्राम का की कन्वीनर हैं अब आप, तो मैं समझ सकता हूँ आपकी हालत।
निवेदिता मैम को मैं ये कह सकती हूँ कि शी इज आवर सपोर्ट सिस्टम। मैम, यू आर आवर बैकबोन ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट।
सुनिए, 5 डेज जब से ये कट ऑफ आया है, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8, 3 बजे से पहले सोए नहीं रात को, 6 बजे उठ जाते हैं, दिन भर फोन में लगे रहते हैं, बैठे रहते हैं एक जगह में, उठ के चले भी नहीं जाते, फोन डिस्चार्ज हो जाएगा करके उसको लगा के रखते हैं चार्जर में।
और मैम आप देखिए हमारा डिपार्टमेंट पॉलिटिकल साइंस एक तरफ, पूरा कॉलेज एक तरफ, हमने इक्वल ही एडमिशन किए हैं, बीए प्रोग्राम और ऑनर्स दोनों को मिला करके। काफी सारे बच्चे हैं, हमारे ही कोर्स के ज्यादातर सीट्स फुल हो गई हैं अभी फर्स्ट कट ऑफ में।
नहीं, बट आई कांट सी इट।
तुम्हें देखी पाल नंबर।
हमारे डिपार्टमेंट से और किस किसने ज्वाइन किया है? अभी मैंने निशा को देखा। हाय निशा। और
मैम
सीमा भी है आई थिंक, और संदीप भी है। So we are
Hello,
5, 6.
TIC. Hello,
स्टूडेंट वाले ग्रुप में सबको एक बार दोबारा रिमाइंडर डालने की जरूरत है। मैं तो डाल रहा हूँ।
मैंने भी सर शेयर किया है जस्ट अभी।
अपने अपने ग्रुप्स में और डाल दो, यूनियन में भी चला गया है मैसेज।
बीए प्रोग्राम ग्रुप में डालना भूल गई।
मैम सर को बुला लिया जाए क्या?
आई थिंक स्टार्ट कर देते हैं,
हाँ।
है ना?
जी जी, he is joining. Ma'am, sir has joined.
Very good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
So, we can, I think we can start the program. We are very honored to have you with us. And Dr. Vandana, are we waiting for some people or should we continue?
I think we should start now because we have already late by 10 minutes.
At the outset, I would like to say that we are a premier institute of University of Delhi. Ours is Kalindi College, a women college, and about 6,000 to 7,000 students are there in the college. And since we run undergraduate programs and some master program also, but since the research component, which is very essential these days, and also it is now in the new education policy, research and development has been incorporated as an important component of education at all levels, whether it is be it school, high school, and higher studies, to inculcate inquisitiveness among students. The government has included this as a very, very important component. So therefore, I would like to thank Dr. Vandana to think about this particular subject, to deliberate upon for the benefit of young researchers, and so we welcome for that purpose to you, sir. And now I would like to tell you some background why we are organizing this particular program, because since 2015 in our college we are sincerely have this approach that every year we should have some projects which the college will support financially and logistically, and teachers will have the project proposals while including students who are very, very keen to learn research methodology and pursue their career in further. But we have already, we also ensure that maximum number of students take part in this process, that it provide them an atmosphere of better learning, inquiring social issues. So therefore, since 2015, this procedure and this practice we are having in the college. Every year, about 50-60 projects are allocated and funds are given to the teachers, so that this process is ensured and students learn more on this. So thank you for bringing this topic today, and I would now like to introduce you, sir, honorable chief guest of the program and keynote speaker among our students, so that they are aware of your experience and background, so that they can have questions around also in the end of your talk. Again, very warm welcome. We have among us today Professor Vijay Gadicha. He is basically computer scientist and engineer by profession. Professor is currently working as associate professor in Raisoni University, Amaravati in Maharashtra. Sir is also serving as Dean Academics and Head of Computer Science and Engineering Department at the university. Sir has done Doctorate of Philosophy in Computer Science and Engineering. Has been a topper in Master of Engineering in Computer Science and Engineering. Sir has also received Outstanding Academic Award in 2020 at INFPS on 29 December 2020. Sir has been recognized as Global General Secretary for World Statistical Data Analysis Research Association. He is also recognized for International Innovation Program Mentor. He is also Nodal Officer for GHRU Amaravati for all the certification courses under NSQF scheme of UGC, Government of India. Sir has worked as Head of the Department, Computer Science and Engineering Department for more than 12 years. Sir has been recognized as PhD Supervisor for Computer Science and Engineering Researcher at Raisoni University, Amaravati. He has more than 18 years of experience in computer science and engineering discipline. Sir has also received Best Research Papers Award at IEEE International Conference ICCUBEA in 2017 in Pune. So, Sir has also been part of computer networking professional certified from IIT Kharagpur, India. NPTEL certified professional on various programming tools. So in this way, I would tell our students that Sir has extensive knowledge of research and development in data analysis. So we are very honored to have you sir, with us today. And now I request Dr. Vandana to say a few words and welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you, Vijay Gadicha. You have elaborated so well. Sir, your biodata is, so wide. It is really difficult for us to, make it, bit how we can share everything to our students. So, sir, I officially invite you in Kalindi College. So, platform is for you, sir. We are undergraduate students, and hopefully, we'll get, very fruitful lecture from your side. Thank you, sir.
Okay, am I supposed to start?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Vandana madam, Nivedita madam, nice introduction, long introduction you did, right? It's a long journey of my career. I mean, it's around 18 to 20 years now. I'm in the field of computer science and engineering. I am witnessing some 70 candidates over here, or 70 participants over here in the meeting. I want to check, am I audible to everyone? My voice is coming to you?
Sir, your voice is clearly audible, but I request everyone to please mute their, phones and their microphones. So we are getting some voice from as a background noise. So please, okay? So
Yes,
you are completely audible. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, somebody has Tannu is responding me that I'm audible. So thank you very much. Look, we are in the generation of this virtual world. Before I go and touch my technical topic and we'll discuss research ethics, I mean, when I came to know that I have to talk about research ethics to UG candidates, I was very astonished, But yes, there is no age as such to learn something. You all young aspirants are going to, touch the field of research, as Nivedita Madam rightly quoted that in NEP, National Education Policy, the number of tremendously talented people who decided that yes, research is the avenue to give to the people, to the students. And I congratulate and appreciate the organizing team, Vandana Madam, Nivedita Madam, and the entire institutional administration team to organize research ethics sort of sessions for UG programs. Even I don't have in my university, So I learned a lot from you, and now I'm going to have the sessions over here for research ethics. Fine. So we are going to discuss about this research ethics. But as I told you, I want to appreciate the entire organizing team. Look, even in this time of pandemic, we know that this time was very critical, very difficult, and there are a number of hurdles and challenges which we've gone across. But you people make sure that by organizing such sort of webinars or workshops, so that the knowledge of rivers keep on flowing, and it will hit the door of anybody, every student, so that they will get acquainted with the new horizons of the knowledge. And this sort of pandemic should not prohibit us to explore the knowledge. So, Madam, all you people are so very appreciable on that act. Now, I think without wasting any time, I'll go and share my presentation. Do I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir. Completely visible.
Yeah, this is research ethics, which is the technical topic of today's discussion. Okay, fine. So before I'll go and switch on this thing technically, let me tell you one thing about research ethics and why we are at all viewing it. Look, as research is one of the big horizon. Look, you have obtained this thing or identified this thing when we suddenly come up with this huge pandemic. And we don't have answer to this pandemic suddenly, because this thing happened very instantly, and we were not prepared about it. So everybody is looking out for its diagnosis, its treatment. Maybe somebody is saying that, hey, where's vaccine? I want vaccine. So everybody pretends to be, finding out the vaccine for this particular disease, and we suddenly got up into a time where research is so a crucial thing. But now, here the topic of discussion is not about how to do research. It's about how honestly we have to do the research. There is a narrow difference between the two. When you're learning the technology or the terminology that how to do the research, the subject is called as research methodology. That is different, guys. Even though you are UG guys, maybe you are studying your third year and final year. But then we need to understand this, and believe me, guys, this session which I'm targeting over here, I'm targeting as if like you're not knowing anything about research ethics or ethical policies which may be drafted for research. So this is my preemption, this is my assumption that nobody knows anything about research. So when you talk about a research approach, then what sort of approach should be there to the research, then the subject is called as research methodology. The short form is RM. Usually PhD guys or master guys used to understand that. But today, the subject of discussion is very, very critical and very, very specific, which is called as research ethics. Now, over here, what we are going to talk about, that means what are the components of honesty? What is the component of genuineness? What is the component of merit which we need to adopt while we are doing our research, while we are conducting our research? I think I'm thrice saying this thing, but then I keep on repeating this for entirety of this webinar. I appreciate the team of agenda fixing, which fixed this agenda that let's have a discussion on research ethics, that what are the ethics, minimum ethics we need to follow while conducting our research. So I welcome you all in this discussion of research ethics. Yeah, so let me go through the index that what we need to navigate today. We need to understand first of all the basics of ethical research. Look, one request I want to make to every single student which is listening to me now, that whenever I'm going to float the slides or going to discuss on say certain issues, if you have any difficulty or problem to ask, you please note it down, and at the end of the session I committed the promise to madam that we are going to have a long QA session. If anything students want to know, the session is open for discussion. So I'll be more than happy if you're asking me a lot of queries, because this is my favorite subject where I can speak for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we are going to see basics of ethical research and what actually ethical research is all about. Look, a young kid like you is sitting over here and trying to get accustomed with the facts and findings of research. So that's why I intentionally posted this logo over here. Then we are going to see, after the basics of ethical research, its importance and significance. That means how impeccable it is, how appealing it is for us and for the society as well. Then we are going to see domains of ethical research. Domains means where it can go, where it is applicable. What is the scope of this ethical research in the world? So we are going to witness that. After that, we are going to see what is plagiarism. Then this plagiarism is act of inheriting somebody's literature, somebody's ideas, and showing as yours own, which is dangerous act to perform. So I'm going to discuss this in detail, that what's plagiarism and how to accomplish it, right? Then what are the types of plagiarism? Look, plagiarism is a versatile sort of phenomenon. So we need to understand that what are the various types of it and how to deal with them. Then solutions of plagiarism. So if anyhow I got up into the plagiarism, then how to get rid of this? This is also important. We need to understand this. Then anti-plagiarism tools, that there are some electronic tools or some methods or procedures available by virtue of which I will get out of the plagiarism. So we will discuss that as well. Then I'm going to give you a short cameo of paraphrasing. That what is paraphrasing? Every researcher who wants to do research, maybe publish some papers, etc., have to understand this paraphrasing. The paraphrasing is converting somebody's text into your own language and including in your own paper or research report or project report or dissertation or whatever. So we're going to discuss this in detail, which is called as paraphrasing. Again, are there some electronic tools or websites which are helping to provide the assistance to paraphrasing? So we're going to learn that. I'm going to give you hands-on demonstration, guys. Don't worry about it. And then finally, we are going to wind up with this session and maybe references which I have included, because we are talking about ethical research, so I need to give references as well. So this is what we need to navigate in next 40 minutes time. I hope everybody is quite excited to know this thing. Before we go and see that what is ethical research, let me talk about research, then what actually it is. And as I promised you guys that I'm going to start the discussion with the assumption that nobody knows about anything about research or ethical research. So I'm up to my promise, and I'm introducing you the types of research which can be done in the world. Look, there are various types of research, but basically broadly, if we can categorize that research will be done by the individuals, which is going to provide the facility to the society of two categories. Hello? So majorly it is of two categories. The first category happens to be research by people, as if like some scientist working in the laboratory, maybe doing some experimental research. Let us try to understand what is experimental research, guys. Look, experimental research is a research of which the outcomes are not defined. Those are not yet finite. Those are yet to obtain. So that is called as experimental research. So there is a sort of research which is usually done by the scientists or people or the authors, okay, or the expertise in that particular domain. But then there is some research which is done about people. So the first category of the research is research done by people, but then there is another category where research can be done by people. The mean to say is that, for example, you are doing the research that and you're trying to identify whether there's a Rama temple in Ayodhya. So you are a researcher who's doing the research about the ancient people, already existing people. So like you're doing the research that what happens into the battles at Jerusalem in Israel. So if you're doing that sort of research, you're doing the research about people. So these are the two broad categories of the research to accomplish. Now, what are the ethical research basics? That means where the ethics or the research ethics can go and why to conduct it. Look, there are some guidelines when you're following your research. The first guideline is that while you're doing your research, you should be conveying or conducting honesty. Now, what is honesty? That means when you're doing research, whatever the data, whatever the results you have obtained, please honestly quote it as it is. Do not make modifications, alterations into it. Do not falsify your data. And whatever the results you obtain out of the research of a specific title, of a specific domain, of a specific topic, please publicize it. Go for qualitative publication houses. There are publication houses like UGC Care, Scopus, Web of Science, or even SCI. Whatever the results you are getting out of your research work, please publish in these qualitative journals and get recognition. And forget about getting only recognition, but let us prove the mettle of your research and your unique contribution as a researcher to the world. And this component of honesty will give it to you. You need to be honest. You need to narrate your results that, hey, my result is this much handsome than the existing results, or this much non-appealing than the existing results. So you need to talk about that. You need to be honest, right? The second the factor which counts about the research ethics is do not fabricate, falsify, or misrepresent your data. The major says that whatever the results you have got, please mention them as it is. Do not manipulate with them. Do not falsify the facts. Do not alter them. Stick to your figures and mention them as they are expected. So these are some of the certain things which we need to follow while conducting ethical research. Now we are going to see the important things. So you may be asking that, sir, fine, this is research ethics, okay, but then my mommy is not conducting it and she cooks nice food. So what about the impact of this to the society? You all are technical guys, you are scientific guys, you need to understand this. And what is the significance to society? The first significance is that you need to respect the human dignity. Let's understand at this point number one. Let us consider you are doing a research in an ABC topic, okay? You selected ABC topic to do the research. And there are some certain scientists, they're like 8 to 10 scientists who have already done work in your topic ABC. And you want their work to be included in your manuscript, in your report, in your research paper. So when you are including their achievements in your paper, please mention about them. The technical keyword is called as citation. Please cite them in your research paper. Give the respect, give the dignity to those original authors, to the ancient authors which they deserve. So this is the sort of impact, this is the sort of respect you are showing to the researchers which are existing in the world. This is the impact to the society. The second point, respect for privacy and confidentiality, very, very important point. I think everybody which is listening to this session, please listen with some degree of concentration. What I mean of respecting the privacy and confidentiality. Say like some of you guys, maybe 5 or 10 or 15 guys are selected to investigate the facts that whether a temple of Rama is existing in Ayodhya or not. You are investigating that. But you need to keep all the things very confidential, very private, because there is a case which is going on in the Indian courts about it. You cannot afford to falsify the things, you cannot afford to leak the things. And if you've done that, there are social imbalance which may occur in society. I think you understand this. So you need to keep the research private and confidential following the ethics. This is the impact to the society. The third major impact to the society is that you need to respect the law and justice. If we all know what happened in Wuhan lab, and whole of the world is suffering from that. So whichever the law, whichever the justice which are frozen, whichever the rules which are frozen to do the research, you need to strictly obey that. Otherwise, you can see there 2 years have been gone, nobody is progressing. So this is the impact, guys, of research ethics to the world. I hope now I convinced you people that how impactable the ethical research is, and that's why your management has organized this session today. Okay, now once you understand that how important it is for every individual which is surviving in this world, it is evident to know, sir, where it is extended, where it is needed. Let's tell us. So look, the first and foremost point that where research ethics can go is writing research reports. So if you're writing any research report and you want to submit to Government of India or HRD ministry or maybe to your principal or to your supervisor or to somebody else who is incubating or giving you some funds about research, at that place you can conduct your research ethics. Over here, write 1. 2, when you're drafting your manuscript, say like you're drafting your research paper, at that time this is so very critical, because nowadays if you are publishing your paper in a qualitative publication house, maybe like UGC Care or Scopus or Web of Science or SCI, they only permit you 10 to 15% of plagiarism, not more than that. So here also research ethics can extend its wings in drafting manuscripts, right? Third point where your research ethics can go and extend its wings is writing research proposals. Say like you are writing a research proposal to clean the river Ganga and submitting into the Ministry of Namami Gange. So your research proposal should be original, unique and innovative in nature, where you can adopt the policies of research ethics and write it. So I think communicating with the versatility of the research ethics, okay? The fourth point where research ethics can go is like when you're writing your thesis or project report or your book on your research work, at that time as well you have to conduct the ethics of research. And finally, fifth horizon or domain where research ethics can go is filing patents and publications, right? So if you think so that, sir, my work of research is very unique, my project is so very tremendously innovative, so I want to file a patent. Please, when you're writing the patent, your research ethics policy should be visible into it. It should be evident into it. So I hope I conveyed every vertical, every horizon where research ethics can go. Now let us be practical about it and be discussing about these terms which are very, very interesting. Now, I think I given sufficient background and preamble to you about the research ethics. Now it's a time about knowing that, sir, how to conduct it. It's sufficient, we understood that this is important. But now, sir, please convey us how to conduct it practically. So guys, we need to understand this fundamental principle which is called as plagiarism. So the obvious question comes over here, sir, what is plagiarism? What this big fish is? Where it came from? It's basically a Latin term which means plagium, and it means kidnapping or stealing, taking away without any permission, right? So it's an intellectual theft, and it's a serious misconduct, scientific or technical misconduct. So if you can see this logo over here which I hang, there is a thief which is taking away somebody's idea, somebody's brain. So what I mean out of this particular slide, let's try to understand it. Let's consider there is somebody in your class who's called as Ram. He has written some manuscript and published his manuscript by using his research work. And then there is some guy who's called as Shyam. He has taken the entire work of Ram and published in his own name in some other journal. This is theft of intellectual property, and you can have to pay number of repercussions related to that. So this is plagiarism. You can say in shortcut it is copy pasting somebody's work, So this is what I think I introduced you sufficiently plagiarism, but if still you're having doubts, you can ask me in QA session. So let me define you what is plagiarism. The plagiarism is the use of the others' published or unpublished ideas or words of other intellectual property without attribution or permission, and presenting same as your new idea or your own work. Fine. So what actually in my look, I use number of keywords in these definitions. I'm saying without attribution or permission, and presenting them as new and original rather than derived from existing sources. Look, there is some work done by some researcher, and that is called as existing work. If you like that work, if you want that, okay, I want to use this work, please use it, no problems. But then give the due credit to that original author, to the original scientist. Let us cite him. Let us put him in the reference, right? Now, what is the meaning of taking permission? Let me share a case study with you all. Look, I was writing a paper on IBM Watson. IBM Watson happens to be artificial intelligence technology which is developed by IBM. So in somewhere around 2018, I was writing the paper on IBM Watson. And I have drafted a paper for a conference, and before I had gone for that publication, I written the email to IBM saying that, hey, I want your kind permission to publish this paper. And after 3-4 days, IBM Pune has given me the permission to publish that paper. So if somebody has developed some technology, if somebody is owner of some scientific fact, please take the permission of that particular body and then go for the presentation. So this is what is I have to do. Otherwise, you will get caught up in plagiarism, right? I hope I introduced this thing in detail. Yes, this is the factual study which is given by Willy survey in 2016. Is a little older report, but then it is having factuals into it. Now, if you can see over here the research which is done in Asia, Europe, and America, if you can see this red portion which is the plagiarized content, so if you can see in India there's more than 12% of the papers or the publications which are observed are plagiarized. Here the quantity is little lesser, here the quantity is little lesser, but then these are also the portions which are plagiarized. Okay, so the original content, if you can see, which is published by India is around, or maybe Asia is around 30%, in Europe it is around 50%, and America is publishing 40%. Otherwise, everything is plagiarized. So the mean to say is that problem is critical. Now we need to analyze that, is the problem really critical? That, sir, we kept a session of plagiarism, the boring technical session. What's the issue going on? Tell us, what is the problem with it? The guys, if you keep on copy pasting somebody's text, somebody's context, somebody's idea, somebody's creations, where your skill sets will be, where your brain will be, where your innovations will be, nowhere. So if you keep on copy pasting from Google or Wikipedia and keep on submitting your assignment to the institute, where from the creative ideas will come? Look, guys, let me share you this thing that we are so very proud that the work which is done by ISRO is tremendously phenomenal. You know, they're launching the 120 satellites, 130 satellites every 3 months, which is very, very incredible achievement. So if these sort of innovations are to be welcomed by India, we need to get out of this plagiarism. This is a dangerous act to perform. I hope everybody awakened now. Now let us see what are the repercussions. Are there some serious law and justified repercussions? The answer is yes. If some researcher in America has misconducted his research and falsifies his result, he has written one paper and unintentionally, unknowingly, unreckoningly, he said that I have done this, and he falsified some of the results and fabricated some X-rays, outcomes which are observed. And the repercussion or the consequences which have happened is that that researcher is debarred for 10 long years. His job is gone. And even the publisher who has published that particular paper, their license is also rejected. It is cancelled. So there are serious repercussions to this plagiarism, guys. This is a case study I can share with you. Now, what are the types of plagiarism? This is interesting. I hope I am audible and everybody is listening. Am I audible to all of you? Can anyone acknowledge, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But sir, there is some noise. We don't know from where it is coming. Can you just ensure that?
Okay. But my voice is clear and audible to everyone?
Voice is very clear.
Fine. Thank you. Let's hope that it will go by, because I'm facing huge rain today. So maybe due to that as well. So fine, like we are going to understand now, so the problem is critical. We are recognizing now copy pasting is dangerous. Plagiarizing is dangerous. So what are the types? How many types of plagiarisms are existing? Look, the first and foremost type of plagiarism is global plagiarism. Guys, you will be astonished when I share with you, because I used to work reviewer for IEEE or Springer or elsewhere. The number of papers which I used to review. Let me share with you people, global plagiarism is a sort of plagiarism where you can use entire text of somebody's author. Some existing author has written something. You are using entire text of his, only you are changing your name. That's it. Let me suppose ABC scientist has written some research article. You are using entire content as it is, and you are only including your name into it. So this is called as global plagiarism. Please do not do that. At least intentionally do not do that. Now you may be asking the question to me, sir, if I like somebody's text which is on Wikipedia, do not I cut paste? Cannot I afford to cut paste in my project report? The answer is no. Please don't do that. So sir, how to introduce it? Read it and write in your own language. That is the idea. I hope I am in tune with you all the people. Then second type of plagiarism is paraphrasing plagiarism. Paraphrasing plagiarism means bringing entire paper again, bringing entire content again, but only changing some of the few lines in between, some of the few words in between, and then retaining the rest of the text as it is. This is called as paraphrasing. You're only trimming some of the words or some of the lines, rest of the context is as it is. That sort of plagiarism is called as paraphrasing. Then comes mosaic plagiarism. Now mosaic plagiarism is a sort of plagiarism where suppose you introduce some of the 5 paragraphs of some research report which is existing on internet, and you alter 2 paragraphs, like paragraph number 3 and paragraph number 4, and then remaining text is as it is. This is called as mosaic plagiarism. You cannot afford to indulge into it. Fourth thing is very interesting, guys. It is self-plagiarism. What it means? As if like suppose Vandana madam has given you assignment, you have submitted that assignment to Vandana madam, and next day, some other madam has given you assignment, and you are submitting the same assignment of yours, your original work, to that other madam. Even if you're doing that, you are plagiarizing your own self. You are using the content of your own self you already have submitted. Let me give another example. Suppose there is some author called A and there is other author called B. Now some author A has written the research paper and he has published his research paper in Scopus Index journal, And then tomorrow an author B, that author A is trying to publish that same paper in Web of Science journal with same content. Even though he is the original owner of that content, still he cannot afford to use that content again. That is called as self-plagiarism. So you cannot afford to deal with that as well. And finally, the fifth one, this is the common mistake which young researchers used to do when I used to review the papers. This is called as incorrect citation. Now what is incorrect citation? Look, incorrect citation means you used to put up the reference list at the last of your research paper or research report or dissertation report or project report. So in that reference list, there used to be number of authors, and you don't used to cite them inside when you're writing your literature review or literature survey. Please don't do that. Or otherwise, suppose you have written some paragraph in your literature survey or literature review, and that paragraph is not corresponding to the citation which you have actually mentioned. So you cannot afford to do that. Suppose that in the reference reference list on the 11th number you have written that I am using scientist or computer scientist Vijay Gadicha, who has done this work. So wherever in literature review you are writing my paper's content, at that moment itself you have to write my name and the publication date. This is the correct way of citation. So you will have to use correct way of citation. If you are not doing it, it is called as plagiarism. Okay. So these are all the types of plagiarisms which are existing in the world. Now the problem is narrated. Now what is the solution? How to provide solution to this? So how to get rid of the plagiarism? So the first and foremost solution is that cite all the resources properly. Whichever the reference list you have decided that, okay, I'm going to have 16 papers in my reference list or 16 authors in my reference list. Please cite them correctly wherever you are using their context, wherever you are using their text. Please cite them. If you've done that, you are out of plagiarism. 2. Include review of existing context. Very, very important, guys. Point number 2. Look, whenever you decided that, okay, I'm going to bring somebody's content in my paper, in my research report, in my project report, then do not cut paste it. I repeat, do not cut paste it. If you're cutting pasting it, you are following plagiarism. You're doing wrong thing. So what you have to do is that you have to convert that context. You have to transfer that text into your own language, which is called as your review. Your view about the context. Okay? So then you can include that existing context in your paper. If you're doing that, you will be out of plagiarism. Don't worry. Third solution, that you use flag checking tool. Look, there are a number of electronic tools which are available in the world. Some of the famous ones are Turnitin or Kun, which are very, very good and very, very nice at checking of the electronic content. So you can use them. I'm going to show you a demonstration if time permits. And they will tell you whether you are plagiarized or not. They will show you the reports as well. The fourth solution is that having a research ethics policy. This is to administrators, management of the college or the institute. You should draft research ethics policy. You should broadcast it on website, put it on notice boards. Tell the student, please follow the ethical practices. Be honest about your research. And also tell about its refurbishment. If it is caught that you copy pasted, these are the refurbishment, these are the punishments. So you have to freeze the research ethics policy. We have research ethics policy over here. I drafted it. Then design of unique assignments and projects. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. The guides and supervisors, the principals, the HODs have to design such an assignment, unique assignment, which have been not conducted so far. Say for example, let me give an example. Let us consider you are about to give an assignment to the students about databases, right? Database management system. So earlier days the assignment used to be that let us make a project of hospital management, or let's make a project of blood bank management. Okay, but now give them the project of co-vaccine storage management, Covishield storage management, like that. So you need to come up with the innovative practices so that the new definition will come across and there will be lesser chances of getting plagiarized. And these are some of the websites which you can go and check to remove plagiarism from your content. Yeah, this is the official website page of Turnitin. As I told you, if time permits, I'm going to show a demonstration using Turnitin that how to catch up the plagiarism using electronic tools. Now, once we are done with the plagiarism, the second factor comes is paraphrasing. Now, what is paraphrasing? Before I go and explain you guys, let us try to understand that why we need this thing. What is the science behind it? Look, the science is so simple. You like somebody's content, you like somebody's idea, you like somebody's creativity, and you want this creativity to be written in your own research report, your research report, your project report. You want to introduce that idea in your dissertation, in your project report. So what to do? Sir said no cut pasting, it will be intellectual stealing. So what to do? At that time, you need to read the entire content. At that time, you need to read the entire context and then introduce that particular thing in your research report. This is called as paraphrasing. So what is paraphrasing, guys? This is to put something into your own words. If you want something to include which is already existing, write that thing in your own words. Now here a common question comes in everybody's brain. Let's say if I want to include somebody's text in my own word, in my own research report, whether my interpretation, whether my observation will be correct, whether the text which I am going to introduce will be correct. So please have a consultation for the experts, have the consultation with your guide, have the consultation with your friends that look, yeah, this is the research report which I rated and this is how I have written it. Is it correct? Let us check it. So this is how the paraphrasing used to work. Let me proceed in paraphrasing. There is a question, can it help me in some of the other way to get out of plagiarism? So that means whether paraphrasing is going to help you to get out of plagiarism? The answer is yes, if you use it ethically. That's why we are sitting together over here in research ethics. The paraphrasing is going to provide you the solution about plagiarism. How to do that, sir? Let's see. The first and foremost step to conduct paraphrasing is to read the content carefully. Let me explain this, guys. Let's try to understand it. If we decided that these are the 10 papers which are going to impact my research article, and these 10 papers are very, very closely associated to my research article, so you need to give a careful reading to all those 10 papers. And once you've given the careful reading to all those 10 papers and you obtain that, hey, out of these 10 papers, only 3 papers are having huge impact on my research title. So you have to shortlist only those 3 research papers and have to include the content of them in your manuscript. This is step number 1. Step number 2 is asking the needful question. Look, when you are doing your research, at that time there will be certain questions in your mind that whether my research is going to solve this problem. Is it having clear-cut objectives to provide some services to the society? Do I have sufficient input and output to, mention and express my research? So all these needful questions are there which you need to address, and that has to be addressed while you are, reading the content of somebody existing author and when you are bringing it to your manuscript or to your own research. The third point is that write down in your own word. This is crucial, guys. Here your mettle of a researcher is going to be checked. So if you thought so that yes, the content which I read it is appealing enough, it is close enough to my research title, now it's turn to put it in your own words. It's your turn to write it in your own words, where you have to have the sufficient skill set, sufficient vocabulary to put it in your own language. And step number 4 is that if you're unable to do so, in step number 3, there are some electronic tools which will support you. There are electronic tools like quellbot.com, you can purchase it and those tools will support you to convert the context of somebody in some other language. I will give you the demonstration of this. And once you've done that, then you can put that content in your paper, in your research report, and then you can check its plagiarism. And once you check that plagiarism, if your paper, if your research report is plagiarism free, then you can include that context in your research report, and hence you practice the research ethics. This is the way in which we have to conduct our research ethics while we are doing research. And these are some of the websites where you can go and you can perform the paraphrasing. Thank you very much. So this is from my side about research ethics. The main to say is to avoid plagiarism and use paraphrasing tool if you want. And these are some of my recent publications. This is one of the book chapter which I recently published in Taylor and Francis series of books, which is completely plagiarism free. This is a recent publication which is published on 30th September, published by Springer, the Scopus indexed publication. So thank you so much. I pretend that this particular session is going to motivate you or going to give you a basic awareness about research ethics and ethical policy, how impeccable ethics is for the research, and then the 2 big horizons which I touched today is about plagiarism and paraphrasing. So thank you so much for patience listening. Now, allow me to give you a short demo. Let me demonstrate first of all what is Turnitin. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the home screen of Turnitin software. It's a legitimate software which we purchased over here at university. So let me log into this software. So these are some of the credentials which we have to put. And then this is how I have configured for my department of CSE. If you can see, there is an option of assignment, so I just click it. And when I click it, there is some option called more actions. Okay, so I just click this more actions and submit my research report over here. It will ask you some details, so I'll give my details over here. Okay, so these are some of the details, and then I'll choose the manuscript or research report where I want to check the plagiarism content. So let me go. I have identified one paper for demonstration purposes. Yeah, this is the copyright work which I already have done and registered copyright. Then I upload it on cloud to checking the content of plagiarism. So my document is uploading. It will take some time. Yeah, it's here. Let me confirm that this is my document. Look, guys, there are freewares also available for checking the content, but I suggest you people please go for legitimate software, licensed software. There are reasons for that. You may be wondering that why you are insisting on expenditure of the money. There are reasons for that. If you are interested, I will tell you. So here is my paper. My report is yet to generate. Here my report will appear. We'll let it come. It will take some maybe 2-3 minutes time or 5 minutes time. Sometimes it used to be very quick. Yeah, it's here. It's here. So if you can see, my 72% of the content is plagiarized. That means 72% content is cut pasted. It's not original. Look, this work is already published by me, so that's why it is on internet. That's why I am getting plagiarized. I already filed a copyright on this content. You can see this once the report is appeared over here. It will be here in a moment. Please cooperate with my internet speed. Maybe it's here already. No, it's yet to come. It's yet to come. Maybe it will, take sufficient time, maybe sometime 10 to 15 minutes it will take to appear the entire report. And once, it's here. So this is my literary work, which I already took the copyright on. It's published on internet. Look at this. This is the plagiarized content. This is self-plagiarism, maybe. Yeah, this is plagiarized content. Look at this. This is also plagiarized content. Look at this. This is plagiarized content. This is plagiarism. Look at this. This is plagiarism. This is plagiarism. This is entirely plagiarism. All the content which is highlighted, right? Yeah. So this is how plagiarism will be visible to you all. I hope everybody have seen this. So this is the sheer demonstration. You can download these reports, right, guys? You can always download these reports if you want to download this report. You can always download it. There's no problem as such. Now let me share you one example, a positive example to you. Yeah. I hope the screen of PowerPoint is visible to you. Yes, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So this is a plagiarism report which is given by Urkun. Earlier I shown you about Turnitin. This is my PhD report. This is my PhD title. The entire title of my PhD. And this is my PhD report which I submitted in 2018. And he is my registrar of the university who has submitted it. And if you can see the significance, that means the copy pasting work which is done in the report is how much percent? 0%. That means no content is copy pasted in thesis. If you can see this, instances which were selected as a source which have appeared are 0. So there's no content actually which is plagiarized. And it's a genuine report from Urkun. And here is my entire report. You can see this. This is the content of my report. These are total 160 pages. 160 pages. So that is how I cited it. So this is the cracks to it. He's the author. I liked his content. So I quoted his content in my own language because it is appealing to my PhD research work. And look at the way I cited him. Right? So I mentioned, I given the credit to that particular author. Okay? So in this way you have to mention that, and this is a 20th number of my reference list. Okay? So in this way you have to cite it. So this is one of the positive example of ethics of research. Now let me come back and discuss with you people about paraphrasing. What is paraphrasing? So let me tell you about paraphrasing. Please cooperate with my internet speed. Look, I'm using a tool called Quailbot over here. Fine. So it's a very, very famous paraphrasing tool which used to convert the text from one form to another form. So guys, this is very, very critical technical discussion which is going on over here. It's not a normal discussion, so you need to be very critical about it. So now let us consider some text. This is a demo of paraphrasing tool which will convert some already existing text into another text by using Quailbot. Here we can explore through the concept of research ethics. Okay, so let us consider that this is the text which is already existing in somebody's literature and you want this text. So as it is, you cannot afford to inherit in your own paper. So what you can do, you can bring it over here. Also, this Quailbot is paid version available. Now I am using free version, so you can use up to 700 characters over here. If you are having paid version, you can use unlimited text. And then you can convert this text into some other text. You just have to click this paraphrase. And this will be converted into some other text. So if you can see, this is converted. Last time it is, the first sentence is this demo is of paraphrasing tool which will convert some already existing text. Now look at this, it is converted in this form. It's saying this demo is a paraphrase program that will change existing text by utilizing Quailbot to a different text. The idea of research ethics can be explored here. So the same three sentences which are written by me already, which are already existing, are converted to new 2 sentences. Now, if you can include them, you may become free from plagiarism. So this is another tool of research ethic policy, which is followed by plagiarism. So thank you so much for patience listening. I hope everybody enjoyed the hands-on demo as well and the entirety of the session which you witnessed. Little critical, little more depth, technical and scientific session, I know that, but then there is no age to learn some critical concept in the earlier stages of life. Thank you so much everyone for patience listening.
Thank you so much, sir. I found it very, very interesting, excellent. It is like a crash course how to go for Plagi check and the tools how to use them. Bit tough for but we can't say it's tough for the social sciences undergraduate students because they are very, very involved these days. They are into Instagram, Facebook, and they are using many social network sites, but where they are putting their ideas, but they must follow this, the ethics and morality of research. So I think very, very useful this one, the program you have showed, you have given us a demo. That's very, very interesting because students have, I don't think they are very much aware of this. It's a very good one. So because they are all our students, last about 5-6 years we have engaged them in very many things like preparing newsletters, 6 monthly newsletter, then yearly journal. Too many things they are preparing these days, so they must follow the research techniques and also they should be aware of the research, I would say, protocols. Research protocols are rules. Thank you so much. I think
there are some questions which are there in chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our colleague Dr. Utpal will help you in that.
Yes.
So students, I think they are aware of now that if we are copying something, somebody's idea, or original, it is kind of a crime, so we have to be very careful while using others' ideas and research findings of other people. At that time, we must acknowledge them. There
are serious repercussions, mind you. There are serious repercussions. I know, madam, there are some people who have applied for the literary event award at the Government of India level, maybe the people who have got Padma Bhushan or Padma Vibhushan, but then there are cases filed against them that they have stolen my content. And they have to give back the awards. These are the repercussions.
Yes. They landed, they end up with court cases, legal issues. And
yes. What happens, madam? Now, if you are nothing, nobody claims that he has stolen my content or he has to copy my content. But once you become something, then everybody checks about you, that what you have done, what sort of publications you have done, and then checking starts. Hey, he has stolen this content. Look at this. He is a bad guy. And then suddenly, there are repercussions for that.
So thank you so much for telling our student, showing the demo that how they should keep themselves free from these hassles, and they go forward, move forward with their research with safe standard tools, using safe standard tools. Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Utpal to share the questions the students are asking and know from sir's experience. Dr. Utpal, I invite you. Unmute yourself.
Dr. Utpal, you are not audible.
How I must be audible?
Yeah, you are now. You are audible.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to one and all of you. The because all the students are undergraduate students, so they are asking according to their own, level of, thinking and.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine, no problem. Yeah.
And there are some very basic questions as well as there are some technical questions as well. So I start with the first one. First question is from Vasundhara Singh. She is also the office bearer of our student union of departments. She is the vice president and she is a third year student. She is asking, thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening session. Could you also guide us as how we should begin the process if we want to do the research?
Oh, very interesting question.
Yes.
Look, the first and foremost thing when you are trying to start research, you need to identify your area of work, your area of research, the domain of research. It's like, say, for what is your hobby as far as the academic research or experimental research is concerned, So you need to identify that, and according to that, you have to proceed. It's very analogous, like in real life, what you want to eat. I cannot afford to compare you. I cannot afford to compare Dr. Utpal to compulsorily eat ice cream, just because I like it. It's like that, guys. So whatever the domain or the field of research you thought that, okay, sir, this is interesting. Hey, I want to identify what is going on with vaccines. Who is powerful? Is it Covishield or Covaxin? So I want to make an analysis of that. Please go ahead. Research tools are waiting for you. Comparative tools are waiting for you. So please go ahead with them. So I hope I answered your query. If you identify area of your interest, according to that you will proceed for your research work.
Yeah, thank you. I hope Vasundhara is listening to you. She is visible as well. Yes. Now the next one is Pooja. Pooja is also a third year student. Very good afternoon, sir. How can we develop thinking in young minds not to do copy paste or plagiarism in their research? They must have to follow some ethics while doing or presenting their research. Suggest some of the points. Thank you.
Pooja, I appreciate your question first before I answer it, because it is said that when you're having a proper balance of IQ, EQ, and SQ, as you like intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, and spiritual quotient, then you're a perfect man. Or not a perfect, actually, you're converging towards perfect. So I appreciate your question where you're asking that, sir, what are the mandatory steps and constructs which we need to follow while performing ethical research? Look, the first and foremost thing which you need to recognize and realize is that if I'm copy pasting somebody's work, yes, maybe Nivedita madam will permit you, maybe Vandana madam will permit you, maybe Utpal sir will permit you to submit your thesis or project report, but what about your own creativity? Your mind is not getting utilized because you have stolen somebody's ideas and you say that, sir, these are my ideas and I'm providing solution to the problem. But actually those ideas are not yours. You have to innovate. You have to take the responsibility on your shoulders that, hey, I am the solution provider to this world. I am going to solve the problem which is erected now. So if you are mandatorily going to do that, you are going to provide wonderful solution to the world, and this world seeks solutions. There are a number of people who are still hungry for the suggestions. So it's your responsibility. Take up that and make innovative, creative solutions, and then you will see automatically you start following the ethical component of the research. I hope I answered your query. Otherwise, what happens if creativity dies? No innovation will happen in the world, isn't it? So this is what we need to do. I hope I answered your query.
One thing, thank you, sir. One thing I want to say to the students, to whom I am addressing, on behalf of the student, I am asking the question. They should, open up the camera. At least they should, make a symbol that they are here and they are listening to sir, right? Like Vasundhara did this, right? So it's a humble request. If you can put on your camera, then it will be a much more lively and impactful. Next is Tanu. Tanu is asking, like on Google, we see that links are mentioned in the last and on particular line or paragraph end. On upper script, the number is mentioned at which the link is pasted. So I want to ask that what is the actual and correct method of citations and giving courtesy? Very fundamental and basic.
Yes, no, actually there are a number of methods to cite the right authors. One of the methods I shown you, where I had written the scientist name and the article and the year of the article when it is published. So I kept it in square bracket, and then I kept on drafting my context, which I like to include in my thesis. And then finally, once that context is ended, I entered the number in the square bracket. That number is the reference list number which I quoted at the last of my dissertation. So this is one of the citation style. Other simple citation styles are like you can write entire content, and then in the square bracket at the end of the content you write the reference number. That okay, 11th number scientists say like this, which is very very close to my research work. This is another way. There are a number of ways. You can have a dialogue with your guides, your supervisors. They will better guide you, because even after university to university this format will change. But there are a number of alternatives. But let me convey you one thing, Tanu. I think Tanu has asked this question. There are a number of softwares even which will help you to correctly cite the things. One of the software is Zotero. Zotero. I type it for you. Zotero. It's a freeware software and very small in size. I think 385 MBs. You just download it, and Zotero will help you to cite all the content. It will hang all the list of references for you. It will automatically cite the contents into the literature survey. It will do all the things for you. So that is a ready-made citation tool which is available, Zotero. And it's so very simple. You can see a YouTube clip and you will know how to operate Zotero.
So can you please spell it out in the chat box?
Yeah, I said it.
Sir, I think Tanu wants to know, it's a bit further thing, but I think she wants to know API style, the Canadian style, probably like that. She wants to know footnote, endnote, in text, all these I think she wants to know, but this is something we will learn later.
Okay. Is she here? Can you unmute her?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you please ask your question? Yeah.
Sir, actually, I am doing a research related to science in everyday life. So in that we have solved so many things from Google about daily life gadget. So how we can give the courtesy to the particular link or to the particular people in any research paper? We are doing that, but I don't know the correct method.
Okay, fine. Look, Tanu, let me clarify one thing, that whenever you are bringing somebody's context, if it is say from website or book or research paper or from journal publication, look, the reference citation for every articles or every item is different. So you need to go and check it at IEEE standard format of inheriting somebody's content. For research paper it is different, for book it is different, for journal it is different, for research article it is different. So you can refer that as they are guiding you. Thing number one. Thing number two, in literature review when you are writing content, so you can bring that content and give due credit by the number of the author which you already mentioned in the reference list. So you prepare the reference list, say like you have given 11 number author is saying something like this, so mention number 11 in front of the context. If you are doing it, it is sufficient. It will be covered into the ethical policy of the research. I hope I answered your query.
Yes, sir. And sir, if we are you said that if we are paraphrasing that content in our own language, so are we do we need to give the courtesy of that link?
Yes, obviously.
Research?
Yes.
Okay.
Arey Baba, you are saying ice cream party. You are saying, sir, I have organized ice cream party. I am saying, no, it's an evening party. So, the mean to say is that the only language has changed. The way the content to be expressed is changed. But it was originally your content, so I should be giving credit to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Now, the question arises, sir, you are using the same semantics, the meaning of the content remains the same. Yes, because I like that. And this meaning is appealing to my topic. That's why I'm including you. Are you getting it? But the due credit I'm giving you by putting you in the citation list. Now, what happens due to that? You might be maybe another step of that. Sir, you're putting me in citation list. What happens due to that? Look, your citation index will improve. The world will start recognizing you at Google Scholar. that hey, he's a big scientist. At ResearchGate, that hey, he's a big scientist. So my research index currently is 88. I'm about to get my 100. So people start recognizing you that he's a good scientist, So it's like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Next question.
Thank you, sir. In chat box, there are 2 questions which are remaining now. But I'll go with the last one because I find it more interesting and a kind of informal question.
Sure.
Manisha Upadhyay, she is also a 3rd year student. He wants to ask, sir, can you please tell us some real and famous examples of plagiarism? Just to add on to this question, which makes it more substantial and interesting, I'm putting it on that the people who caught up with such kind of plagiarism, they lose their repute and position as well. So it will make it interesting, much more interesting.
Yeah.
So if you can quote, you can give some examples.
Manisha, recently I have given an example, a hands-on example where my plagiarism is 72%. So my write-up is ridiculous. That's the best example which you can see. I giving you the hands-on, example of Turnitin, and my report has given me 72% plagiarism. That means it is to be thrown in recycle bin. It's of no way mean. Your plagiarism should be less than 10%, less than 15%, less than 5%. If you want to go for SCI, it should be less than 10%. So your content should be as original as possible. It should come right from your brain. So once it is coming from your brain, there is genuine content, to be included. And the second thing is that it may be, Manisha, it's possible that the saying, sir, hey, sir, I don't have that sort of vocabulary, my communication is not that strong. That is obvious. There's nothing wrong into it. I remember we've grown by Hindi language. Our mother tongue is Hindi. So it's but obvious that we cannot get accustomed with the English language. This is but obvious. So use Quailboard. It will help you. But please use it ethically. Do not use Quailboard for entirely converting somebody's paper into the other language. I hope you understand, all your intellectuals, so you can understand this. So this is an interesting question which I address. Yes.
Nowadays we are oftenly, listening that some of the vice chancellors or some of the very reputed academicians, they are also being, caught up with the plagiarism and all.
Yes, sir. There are serious implications, sir. Yes. I mean, I can't narrate you. Let me share one experience of
please.
One of my disciplee who has done MTech under me is written architecture, a 3D password architecture. And she has brought the diagram of somebody authors and she haven't cited him. He has written me very, very strong email in very, very strong words, sir. So I scolded her that how come she, include that particular diagram without citing their author. So refurbishes are quite serious, sir. They can reach to your vice chancellor, they can reach to any of the authority, and then you have to see the refurbishes. So we need to get acquainted with that. Yeah.
And earlier this was not so stringent and stiff and strict as
yes. This is this is very painful fact, sir, which you have erected over here. Because there are a number of earlier PhDs, there are a number of earlier achievers who haven't followed the norms, and we need to follow it. But let's innovate the things. Let's create new horizons of research, and we have to follow it. There's an interesting question which Asha is asking. She's saying that
that's how I preserve this question for the last.
Yes. Okay. Is it like that?
Read it out, or I should read it?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. On behalf of Asha, I'm saying. Sir, I want to ask you that how will we recognize the privacy and confidential status in research paper and publication? We need data in many subjects, and how do we define justice in ethical way?
Look, it's very, very important question to preserve the privacy and confidentiality of the research paper. But to preserve the confidentiality and privacy of the research paper, you have to use legitimate tools, the legal tools like Turnitin and Orkut. Okay? If you are using any freeware or any internet website which is freely available and you are saying that you will be safe, the answer is no. You may be saying, sir, I will go online, I will check plagiarism content. If you're doing that, you are giving your content to somebody to whom you doesn't know. And that is very, very critical content of your paper. So when you're offering this sort of content to unknown people, you can afford to ask for the confidentiality. You can afford to ask for the privacy. The privacy and confidentiality is a stack. So don't do that. Adopt legitimate tools, and that will give you, ethical way of doing research. And that's how you can justify your privacy and confidentiality. I hope I answered your query.
Yes. So I hope all questions has been already addressed. Anyone else who want to ask, she can mute herself and ask by herself. Even I want to put on something, sir, on behalf of students only. We discussed this topic in a limited way today on behalf of, the thematic discussion of this webinar. When I was introducing your lecture that you are coming to us today. So today in our class, we discussed about research and ethics. So on behalf of both that discussion, that make that discussion much more worthy to the students, do you feel that there is any difference between research ethics and ethical research? Are these two different things? And,
So ethical,
just a second, sorry, sir. And what do you think that this integrity, research integrity is to do something with research ethics? They are complementary in a way. So, thank you, sir.
Yeah, first of all, the first question I would like to address, when you say that ethical research, look, ethical research is a domain, it's a horizon of research. As if like research is a big fish, but then there is some small, research is a big ocean, but in that there's some small amount of water is called as ethical research. So ethical research altogether is an area in which you can start working. Now, but then inside it, there are research ethics. Now, research ethics are the policies, the framework, the procedures, the methods which you should conduct while doing research. Okay, so these are the studies which comes under ethical research, which is called as research ethics. Fine. And now, as you said, sir, how to integrate this? Look, this is very, very integral part of research. You have to include it. There's no other options to you. If you really want your qualitative research to be established not only in India, in whole of the world, then you have to integrate ethical research with your research work. Otherwise, your research is not going to be, having impactful, message to your society or the research world. I hope I answered this query.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So
Sir, can I ask one?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Sir, when we use the references in all, how can we make it 5% lazy? Because references, citations, all these take a lot of space as plagiarized matters.
Yes, very nice question. Madam, whenever you are checking plagiarism using any electronic tool, please exclude your own credentials like your college name, your email ID, your mobile number, as well as all the reference list of the researchers. Do not include them. If you are going to include them, that is already on internet. So you will caught up with the plagiarism. And if you exclude them and obtain a plagiarism report, that is okay. That is acceptable by any publication now, right from Scoopers, Web of Science and SCI. So just exclude your own credentials, because if you are going to write Nivedita Giri, associate professor or assistant professor, blah 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 college, blah 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 university, blah 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 website, so that is going to be there on internet and you will be caught up with the plagiarism. And also the entire reference list, please delete it and then check your paper for the plagiarism. If you're doing it, that's a correct way of checking your paper.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Utpal to, give formal vote of thanks, and on the behalf of my, department, I, Vandana Rani. So thank you very much for, accepting our, accepting our, and I extend my really heartful, vote of thanks to you, sir, that you have accepted our proposal and you have given a very fruitful lecture to our students. And now I invite Dr. Utpal, sir.
Thank you, Vandana ma'am, who is the leader of ours. She is the teacher in charge of our department now. So she is the one who has propounded this topic, as well as she communicated with you, sir. So she is the one who has framed all this this program.
Yeah, she was in touch. Yeah.
Yes. So, but the students were a bit, kind of skeptical before, coming to the session. That's a research and research ethics is a kind of, a grand, subject or grand topic, which is meant for PhD students or something, right?
Yes.
So then I said to those people, those students, that you are the one who is doing PhD in coming years. So the first of all, you are the one who is the stakeholder, and you have to prepare yourself in the beginning.
Yes.
And the next, whenever you are writing something as an assignment or as essay or something, you are preparing newsletter, journal, as Nivedita ma'am said. So you have to follow all these, ethics in research or research ethics.
Yes.
So on behalf of Department of Political Science, we are having so many colleagues here. I want to thank you first for sparing your energy and time, sharing your experience and knowledge to these young minds. You have ignited for sure these young minds for sure. And as well as I want to thank each and everyone who is here, like participants or colleagues like Sandeep ji, Nisha ji, Nivedita and Asha ma'am, Vanna ma'am. Secondly, I want to thank you, the IQAC team, who is the collaborated with us, and they are the one who have propagated or who have accommodated this topic. Last but not the least, I want to thank our principal ma'am, who is the motivator and backbone of our academic credentials as well as academic endeavors. He always pamper us to go ahead with our ideas and our plans and programs. And this particular webinar is being granted in a very limited time. We are engaged with the admission process, which is just going on.
Yes.
Our first cutoff is just finished yesterday. So day before yesterday, we were skeptical whether we are having confirmed permission or not. But she is very generous and she is very kind to us. She has given the permission. As well, she was also saying that we had a faculty development program on research ethics only, but that was only for faculty. So Vanna ma'am persuaded the things, and she said that this particular program is just for our students. And when I saw your biodata, it was so extensive, it was so lengthy and so worthy as well. So just I wanted to do not accommodate myself that I have to introduce yourself. That's why I picked this vote of thanks. So I really thank you, all of you who are here, and we are looking forward to having a series of webinars in coming academic year. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to you, sir.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Big thanks to students also.
Thank you. Yes, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for.
So should we end up here?
Yes.
Anyone who wants to say anything?
अच्छा तारकेश्वर सर थोड़ा सा थे शायद तारकेश्वर जी
तारकेश्वर सर थे अच्छा
एक्चुअली तारकेश्वर जी
चाहिए था वो गड़बड़ हो गई मतलब मुझे ध्यान नहीं तारकेश्वर सर हैं अभी
हैं
जी सर नमस्कार सभी को
सर आप नजर नहीं आए पहले सर
नहीं मैं था मैंने कहा चुपचाप सुन लो अच्छी टॉक है इसके अंदर ज्यादा
प्रोफेसर विजय गतीचा जी को मतलब देख के कम से कम ये तो एहसास हुआ होगा तारकेश्वर जी कि अभी भी बहुत सारे यंग स्कॉलर्स हैं जो कंट्री के डिफरेंट पार्ट्स में हैं।
बिल्कुल और बहुत अच्छा सर ने बोला है। इनफैक्ट मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि बाकी टीचर्स को भी किसी तरह से टॉक दोबारा सुनवाया जाएगा मौका मिलेगा।
मुझे ये लग रहा था कि स्टूडेंट्स और टीचर्स दोनों के लिए होता तो बहुत अच्छा होता है।
मुझे लग रहा है कि ना ये इसको टीचर्स के लिए भी करना चाहिए एक बार हमको।
मुझे ध्यान नहीं रहा कि आप IQAC टीम के बिहाफ पे यहाँ मौजूद है, नहीं तो मैं आपका नाम लिया होता।
नहीं कोई बात नहीं सर,
पार्डन फॉर दैट।
नहीं बहुत अच्छा हुआ क्योंकि देखो बच्चे भी आजकल मुझे याद आ रहा है एक बार वसुंधरा को कुछ लिखने के लिए बोला था तो शी पिक्ड अप वन कोटेशन एंड मैंने कहा ये किसका कोटेशन है तो शी सेड ये रैंडम मैंने उठाया है देन व्हेन आई वेंट टू दे कहाँ से आया है करके इट वाज नेल्सन मंडेला's कोट एंड एवरीबॉडी वाज यूजिंग द कोट विदाउट गिविंग एक्नॉलेजमेंट टू नेल्सन मंडेला So, उसको ऐसे local kind of, everybody was using that. It's not random. हाँ.
मेरा भी एक एक्सपीरियंस है, मैं आपसे शेयर करना चाहता हूँ आप सबसे इसके पिछले बैच को, थर्ड ईयर बैच को, जब मैं क्लासिकल पॉलिटिकल फिलॉसफी पढ़ा रहा था तो असाइनमेंट देने के टाइम पे मैंने 4 लाइन सेल्फ डिक्लेरेशन लिखने के लिए कहा, जिसमें ये कहा कि आप ये डिक्लेरेशन दो कि आपने कहीं से कोई प्लेगरिज्म नहीं किया है, क्योंकि अभी तो गूगल क्लासरूम पे हम ले रहे थे और ऑनलाइन ले रहे थे, तो इसके बहुत सारे चांसेस थे, मतलब कि बच्चे करते ही हैं और वो तो स्वभाव के अनुकूल है हम सबके। तो कुछ बच्चों ने सीधे बैकआउट कर दिया कि नहीं सर, हम नहीं लिखेंगे, हम ये बात नहीं लिखेंगे कि हम प्लेगरिज्म नहीं किए। I really appreciate their integrity कि because they do indulge with such things, they accepted that they will not write anything like they are not plagiarizing something. तो मैंने उनको कन्विंस किया कि this is just a kind of convention that you have to face in future when you are doing MPhil PhD. You have to give this declaration formally, officially. तो अभी से ही स्टार्ट हो जाओ, और प्लेगरिज्म अगर करते हो तो बता दो कि कहाँ से करते हो, सोर्स कोट करते हो, इस तरह से। तो ये एक एक्सपीरियंस रहा मेरा। बच्चे एडमेंट हो गए, उनको लगा कि मैं मार्क्स डिडक्ट कर दूंगा तो जी, और मेरे पास कोई ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर भी है ऐसा।
और इन माय क्लास मेरे बच्चों ने कहा कि मैम क्या टाइपिंग नोट्स दे दें आपको, टाइपिंग असाइनमेंट दे दें। मैंने कहा ठीक है दे दो, बट प्लेगरिज्म विल बी चेक्ड। फिर कहते नहीं मैम हैंड रिटन ही दे देंगे। ओके, बट एटलीस्ट दे नो ना व्हाट इज प्लेगरिज्म, दे हैव सम आइडिया। ये होना चाहिए रिसर्चर्स स्टूडेंट्स, यस कॉपीराइट, दे हैव सम आइडिया अबाउट इट।
चलिए गुड, बहुत अच्छा रहा।
फिर से कलेक्टिवली सबको धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत
थैंक यू। उत्पल जी चाय पीने लगे, हम भी जा रहे हैं चाय पियेंगे।
छोटे भाई ने कॉफी बना के दी है।
IQAC ने इतना प्रेशर डाला कि अभी हमारा फिर से एक मीटिंग है, ठीक है। ये रोज रोज जो गाइडलाइंस भेज रहे हैं और हमें करेक्शंस भेज रहे हैं कि ये